All right, hello everybody. Welcome to a layout update on the HO scale, Bessemer and Lake Erie for June 25th, 2023. I'm Ray Brown. Welcome back to the basement. A few things to cover. Haven't gotten a ton done, been traveling for work a little bit. Did get to stop in Thurmond, West Virginia. Very cool. Something you always saw in pictures. It was cool to see in real life. But for starters, um, doing rolling stock kind of on the cheap here. Picked up all these box cars off a guy in the club here. They weren't in bad shape, but went ahead and painted the trucks and put the Walthers metal wheels in them, painted the wheels, weathered them up a little, put a screw in to body mount the couplers. Let's see if I can see that. Will you focus? Maybe, yeah, you can see it there. So got a number 256 screw right into the body holding the couplers in. There was some shimming and whatnot trying to get all the couplers at height, and really the only problem was they were drooping a little just on that press pin. So putting the screw in there tightened everything up, and I was able to get rid of all the shims with everything in gauge. And yeah, picked up I think 8 cars for $40. So I'm pretty happy about that. Also, eBay find. Picked up the Gory Undefeated model die casting ore car. Did my standard fare of assembling that. I like to have cars on the layout of famous model railroads or model railroads that inspired me. I do have a V&O car floating around here somewhere, and I got a Midland Road hopper floating around here somewhere. Really want to make a 2-bay Utah belt at some point. Up here, this car on the left, the Great Northern car, was a model die casting kit. First one I put together of the Pullman Standard PS2 hopper, and of course sitting next to it is car I won from the White River Line giveaway from Drew over there, and boy, he did a fantastic job on that car. I can't get over it. These are sitting about where Mercer Lime and Stone is going to be, up here on the upper deck. Just kind of getting a feel for what kind of space I got to work with for Mercer Lime and Stone. Shout out to Robert Love. Check out his channel, The Root. He is also a Bessemer modeler. Him and I were chatting about what traffic probably looked like in and out of Mercer Lime and Stone, and he really pointed me in a good direction on some old Google Earth pics that really spelled it out pretty clear that it looks like rock came in and lime went out. So we'll be able to model that here. But to build up a supply of these PS2 covered hoppers, this MDC kit looks good enough to me. And there's a good supply of them on eBay, real cheap. So I don't mind putting them together. We'll get that weathered up, and I'm sure it'll look fine. Okay. Bench work. I said I was going to push ahead and just try to finish bench work. So my goal is to have all the bench work finished by the time I teach band camp, which will be about the third week of August. And that's going to be a challenge. I got a couple months to get that done. Typically I can build about a section of bench work a week, and I got 9 sections to build, but I got a couple more work trips coming up, plus I'm going to go out to St. Louis for RPM. See my friends out there. So I'm going to have to push hard to try to finish up this bench work before I go to camp. And the reason for that is once I start teaching marching band, that'll probably be all consuming. Won't do much on the layout till November. And then that'll give me a couple months to finish the track and have my gold spike, hopefully over the holiday break. But I was real happy with how this third layer turned out here. It is good and solid, real solid. I mean, I'm not going to stand on it or anything, but man, I'm pulling on that hard, and it's not really moving. You can kind of see my usual fair tapered 1x4s. And how all this is working, it was really all in the pre-engineering of how I built the wall. Very rugged, very solid, knowing that eventually I'd be lagging all this bench work into there. So that lets me have this nice clear span, unintruded view, which down here in the lower level I gusseted it because guess what? You didn't see those gussets till I crouched down, did I? Did you? So I'm not too worried about the subdeck, but up here, I like it. So bench work, I think when we left off last time, I was down here in the Hilliard's branch, and turn the corner, and I've got this whole cove built. So this will be Queen Junction over here. So this turnout for Queen Junction will probably be back in that corner. Small, probably 4-track exchange yard here. And then the Hilliard's branch will start climbing in the background and hug the wall, kind of like the KO line does. And I'm going to cut that right down to like 18-inch radius curves. I intentionally want to make it where not just anything can run up that branch. It'll be limited to maybe a 280 and maybe some RS units. So you can kind of see what I did here. 24-inch wide bench work here. That accommodates the radius of the turn I want to have on the main lines, and then tapers back to the 18-inch back there. You can kind of see this is about the limit of the planning I do. Just knowing that I can get the radius curve I want to get in there. That's not necessarily exactly how it'll fall, but I know I can make it work. I did think about doing a drop section of bench work here to put in like another bridge over a small creek. But what I decided was that it was going to interfere with having a clear shot of the nickel plate viaduct and the stone arches for the New York Central in Conneaut Creek. And I just thought that scene was more important to me than having a little more interest on the upper deck here. So we left it at that. All right. Other things. I did pick up a second Walthers 90-foot turntable. I did not plan on putting a turntable in here at Albion in the A yard, but running that last train in the last video I did up the Girard branch. So up the Girard branch, you go around the helix, eventually come around the wall on this front track and into NA Tower. So I always planned on putting a 90-foot turntable in at Erie, but didn't plan on putting one in Albion, and there was one on in Albion on the prototype in the A yard. And once I realized that a 90-foot turntable would kind of fit in there pretty nice, maybe with a little 3-stall roundhouse or something, started thinking that that'll actually be kind of a fun job, maybe just running back and forth between Erie and Albion, where you come up to Albion, you'll come through NA Tower, back your train into the yard, and take a spin on the turntable, go back down, and when you get to Erie, which you come down around Elk Creek, and then out around, and this will be Wallace Junction. So maybe you just go to Wallace, who knows, and you'll come into Erie. And I haven't really decided where I'm going to put the turntable down here yet, but you can spin around and go right back from whence you came. Part of what got me thinking of that is another guy in the division here, Mike Hawk. He's got a beautiful layout. And it's a point-to-point layout, and there's a turntable at each end. And you run across the layout, and you turn your engine around, and you go back the other way. And it's a lot of fun. And I was thinking, you know what? I got the perfect opportunity to do that here on the Erie branch. Let's go ahead and make it happen. All right. Last thing to kind of talk about here. See, this is my next section. Bench work getting ready to go together. On the swing gate, I have modified things a little over here. So I lost the deadbolt, and I put in this over center clamp. It's a lot less screwing around. Now this came from watching people really struggle with that deadbolt when they were over. I had it set very tight, so when you closed it and you locked the deadbolt, everything pulled tight and just didn't move. And as I got to thinking about it, it was just over constrained, because the taper here locks the motion going this way. There's supports at each end to get your vertical position. The only thing the deadbolt was really doing was keeping the thing shut and pulling it that way, keeping it tight that way. Well, the over center clamp does that a lot easier. So we added that, and hopefully that'll be a lot easier for guests that don't have the hand strength that I have. So last thing kind of added here was these stop blocks. So as the gate closes, the upper level locks in between these, and they're tapered out about 15 degrees on each side, and only got about 1/8 of an inch of flat on the back. So, well, here you can kind of see as the gate closes, because this is just on that threaded rod, this is pretty wobbly up top. So as it comes together, that locks in there, and now there's no motion left or right. So, knock on wood, I have not had a derailment on the swing gate yet. I'm sure it'll happen. But really like this. Big improvement. Much easier. All right. I think that's pretty much everything for this week. I'll just turn around here. You can see not much has changed over here. I definitely got a cleanup day coming in the future, I think. But just before I sign off here, just talking about wanting to wrap up bench work. So you can kind of see I got about 2 8-foot sections to get to the corner here. And then I got this cove to build. So I'm going to start by building that back section and then filling in that gap, and I'll bring it around. Shouldn't be too bad. I just gotta keep my head down and keep working. All right. Hope everybody's enjoying their summer. I know I certainly am. And I'll see everybody next time here on the HS Scale Bessemer and Lake Erie.